Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. And in this video, I take this unusable blackberry patch and I groom it up into some rows so that when we get some blackberries, we'll be able to get in there and pick them. So let's get right into it. Well, okay guys, here we are. And this is the road front of my property. And as you can see, there's a lot of pine trees. Let me go to this other side that are dead and falling over. And this is going to lead me to, well, there's a positive part of this, but for now, what happened was the electric company didn't like the branches falling off the pine trees, so they sprayed and they oversprayed and all of the trees just died. But so I've got a lot of mess to clean up, but what it did was when you have an opening like that, it encourages the briars and the blackberries and stuff to grow. So up here I actually have you can start to see I've started to clean this out, but here you get these patches of brambles, and a lot of times there's blackberries in there, or blackberries or raspberries. I think there's a little bit of both. So I guess there was a little bit of a positive coming out of them overspraying, but on the other side of my property, the overspray got all the way down into here and it made a really big patch, and that's what we're going to work on today. So let me get down there and show you what I'm talking about. All right, here we are. As you can see, I've staked out a little spot here in my yard. That's actually for the garden this year. You can see just on the other side of it is another big patch. We're going to walk right up to it. Another big patch of these blackberries. Now I know there's blackberries here. They're here every single year, but what happens is you can't actually get in there to get any of the berries out because it's just so thick. And because it's so thick, I think that none of them produce really well. They need to be trimmed and they need to be maintained. Now, I know that it's better to trim them, or at least I think, I don't know for sure, but I think it's better to do all of your trimming of your trees and stuff in the fall before they've set out their buds, because once they start setting out the buds to the plants, it's just going to start setting nutrients there, and then if you cut them off late like this, you're kind of robbing them of some of the nutrients they could have had. So it's not the perfect time to do this, but I wasn't here in the fall, so I'm going to have to do it now. But what I'm going to do is, my garden here is a 40 by 40. I'm going to actually trim out a 40 by 40, or at least 40 wide by however deep I want to go. I'm going to actually trim out a plot of these bushes, and then I'm going to cut walkways in between and make rows out of it. And then from there, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how I can get these to grow better, ways of trimming them, and ways of actually, you can bend the long tops of them over and bury them back in the ground and help them reproduce and become thicker, but where you want them. But until I get this cleaned out a little bit better, I can't really do a whole lot. So let me get to work, and we'll be talking later. All right, bye. Well, okay, now we have a little start, and I've marked off my dimensions. We got 40 foot across the front. We have 5 foot walkways in between the rows, and then the rows I'm gonna leave now at about 3 feet, but so you'll have 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, all the way down. It'll end up being 1, 2, 3, 4, and end with a 5th row. I ran out of stakes, so I just used sticks. But so you'll end up with 5 rows. They get a little thicker in through here, so they'll be a little bit better. And I started where I did because it's pretty thin there to begin with, but by replanting the tops over, I can over time make the rows as thick as I want. And I just went back until I hit some more trees back there and where I had originally pushed the trees when I cut them down. This area here was like up front, it was all oversprayed. There was probably 40 dead pine trees in there that I've since knocked over and pushed back with a dozer one year, and now we have this, this big patch. So I need to go down through and cut these lines all the way down through each of the sections, and then from there we'll be able to groom it up a little bit. And I want to move these big rocks and stuff. I should be getting a hold of my dad's skid steer from the farm today and bringing in some dirt and leveling some stuff off, and should be able to make it pretty nice. So back to work. Have you ever heard the expression, biting off more than you can chew? Well, I just went to a family-style all-you-can-eat restaurant by myself. Whew! This has taken me hours, but I've got most of it done. You can see, I can't tell how this is going to be with the sun. The rows are just very roughed out. And because I can't tell, I got a couple trees to actually get rid of here. But for the most part, like this first row gets a little thin down towards the end. But yeah, like I said, they're just roughed out. I don't know how to tell what a blackberry bush is until it flowers. They've got like a little white flower with 5 or so petals on it. But until it flowers, I can't tell exactly which ones are which. I think the majority of these are blackberries, but like I said, I'm not going to be able to tell until they flower. So once they flower, I'll be able to trim them a little bit more and get out some of the rest of just the regular briars, and from there be able to bend them over and replant them. And I may not have a very good crop this year, but hopefully next year will be better, and be able to groom it a little bit better. I left the rows a little wider than they will be eventually because I'm going to encourage them to continue to grow in a straight line. It was just so hard to get in there and even just rough it out. And it's so hot today, and I was wearing long sleeves the whole time to keep from getting scratched up too bad. we're all right. Now that's just a little bit absurd. As you can see, it's one tiny little branch caught that tree, and I have got it fallen right down the row, just like I wanted it to, and that one branch catches it up. No big deal. I'm just gonna hook onto the bottom of it with a chain and then pull it backwards with the skid steer and yank it out of there. Shock-proof. I hope I did not break my camera. Well, we did a little bit of destruction here to our blackberries, but I think that for the most part these will recover. Well, there we are, guys. There's the finished rows of blackberry bushes. I think they turned out pretty good. If you look down here, they're just starting to green up a little bit. It's a couple days later and we've had some rain, so they're starting to bud up. Hopefully soon they'll flower and I can see which ones are blackberry bushes and which ones aren't, and I can trim out the ones that I don't want and begin to cultivate these bushes so that we can get a good yield of blackberries. It may not happen this year, but hopefully soon. I'm gonna keep up on this video series. I'd like to add more as I do more work to this and we can kind of learn, because I don't know that much about pruning and stuff of the blackberry bushes, and maybe we can learn together. But I hope so very much that you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more videos on my homestead. And until then, remember, keep it between the blazes.